Hi, I'm Nicklin. Welcome to Humpback Chronicles. We got a question this week asking about the use of drones. Did we use drones, and if not, why not? It's a great question. I came into working with whales as a diver and underwater photographer, but early on it became clear that anything we could do to get a bigger picture of the animals and the environment, anything we could do to get in the air, would be a real asset to telling the story and talking about the science. I think the first time I really had a chance to get in the air above whales was during the 1988 Centennial National Geographic story about new discoveries with whales and trying to photograph fin whales and blue whales, big, fast whales, and to show where they are. And it was really hard to do underwater in water that wasn't that clear. And we got in the air with a Helio Courier, a special stunt plane that you could shoot out of the cargo door, and you could stall at about 25 knots. And it was clear what a different view you had of these big whales once you got in the air. Most of the blue whale work I did from the air was out of small planes where they'd take the cargo door off and you'd be laying in the back of the plane shooting down. And it was great. I mean, getting that big view, but we always thought of better ways to get above whales and tried a bunch of different things. I really wanted to get in the air in the Arctic, in the high Arctic, where narwhals and belugas go through the ice. And National Geographic built me, or had built for me, a special wire-driven dirigible or balloon with a controlled camera underneath, and we shipped it all up to the high Arctic. The camera, helium for the balloon, all of that work, and it was a great idea until a polar bear broke into our storage area and destroyed most of the gear. I was lucky to be given some helicopter time to shoot while I was up there for the 88 story, but it was really cold standing on the outside pontoon of a helicopter racing along over the ice edges, and I could tell the Inuit guys who I was working with didn't like flying around with the doors open in really cold weather. But shooting out of helicopters was great, and the fact that you could stay in one place longer, the only real problem was it was so expensive for helicopter time. At the other extreme, working with Tom Smith on belugas in the high Arctic, he had a very creative approach where he had a scaffolding system that you'd set up during low tide, and then at high tide you'd have whales swimming right under the platform where you were shooting. I mean, it was great. You could sit still. You just had to wait a long time till the tide went out again to get out. We certainly weren't the only folks thinking about getting in the air and trying to shoot whales from the air. And in the late 90s, we worked with a BBC crew that had a really interesting idea. They had a remote control blimp. They'd keep it on an island in a shed and fly it out and run it from the small boats. I mean, it was a great idea. It never really worked very well, but it really looked cool. By 2013, we were getting very excited about drones and got federal permits like we do for approaching whales through National Marine Fisheries Service to use drones above humpback whales. By 2014, we had a custom-made drone that was pretty interesting. It was one that we hoped to not just fly above whales, but in key situations be able to land on the water and shoot down below through the surface and have it be fairly waterproof. But to be compliant for our research, we not only had to have permits through National Marine Fisheries Service, we had to be compliant with the FAA rules, which were much more confusing for our kind of work and delayed us quite a bit. The good thing is, by the time we got through all the permissions we needed to do our work the way we hoped to, drones had gotten much better, they were much cheaper, and we fly drones routinely in the work we're doing today. Going through all the different ways of trying to get up above whales and photograph them and get a bigger picture of what they're doing, I think makes us appreciate drones today all that much more. And the idea that you can have a drone that can do the work you need to do on a small boat ready to go and show that bigger picture is it's just amazing to us. Whether you're looking at cows and calves and showing those relationships there, but especially for us showing bigger pictures and bigger groups of whales that we've seen from the boat or we've seen underwater, but when you see them from the air, you can see more animals and the interactions of more animals, and that's really important to us. That's part of our future with understanding where song fits in and the relationships and social function of song among groups of whales. So I'm going to end this episode with a bit shot by Ralph Pace of Sailor Sal, a female with a calf that swam around with her tail out of the water a bunch of the time a couple of years ago. The idea that we could shoot in the water, underwater, and above the water, all with gear we have every day on the small boat, takes us to a place I just really can't believe we got. But it's a wonderful situation, and it helps you tell the story of where science is going. I'll try to answer more questions in the future. It's great for me to find out what you want to know, and if I do have an answer, I will certainly try and share it. Thank you for coming along. I really appreciate your support, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.